Welcome back to this Fox 23 special, St. Francis Strong, Heartache and Hope. Dr. Ryan Parker captured the attention of the entire nation when she publicly apologized with tears in her eyes for not being able to save just one victim.
Though all of us know there was really nothing to apologize for. Fox 23's Rick Marinon sat down with Dr. Parker now 1 year later to see how she and her team are still processing the tragedy.
She broke our hearts. Frustrated, she and her team couldn't save at least one.
We so wanted to be able to utilize our skills and training to save these precious lives. To the family of Mr. Love, I'm so sorry we couldn't save you. We are grieving with you.
1 year later, Dr. Ryan Parker says June 1st was not about her. She is just one face representing the heartbreak, the pain, and the frustrations, and now the healing of that day.
I wasn't the one that was traumatized that day. My heart goes out and it breaks for, and it gives me resolve to support them, our folks that were in the clinic that day, that were in the Natalie surgical building. So I almost feel even guilty talking about anything that affected me. It was minimal, my trauma.
While 5 o'clock on a weekday for many means time to head home, there really is no closing time for one of the busiest emergency departments in the city.
I remember vividly that afternoon.
Recently promoted from head of the emergency department to associate chief medical officer, it was one of Parker's jobs on June 1st to help secure the doors for lockdown and then come up with a plan to treat those injured.
I heard my colleagues say, "Ryan, get your keys, there's a shooting." And it's just, the adrenaline just kicks in, and kind of thankful for my experience as an emergency physician, you just go into work mode.
Though the victims would be in the next building, Parker and the emergency team waited in the ER with tools, techniques, and expertise, ready to encounter what other emergency rooms across the country have already dealt with: a mass shooting.
We had people coming back after they had left. Everybody just so willingly came back, and so we had more than enough, but we didn't know what to be prepared for, so we wanted to be prepared for anything.
An early estimate of over a dozen victims became 4. Only one had any signs of life. 73-year-old retired Army Sergeant William Love. Police say Love held the door shut during the shooting to give others, including his wife, time to escape. In his final moments, he would be pushed through the doors of the St. Francis ER, but he didn't make it.
When we all just realized that, no, that was it. We did our best and we tried to save Mr. Love, but we weren't going to be getting any more victims. I do think there was this collective sigh of, oh gosh, we realized what that meant. And at the time we didn't know who the victims were, but over the course of the next several hours we started to kind of put the pieces together in our brain, even when it hadn't been released yet. And I think the moment of just, then it hits you that it's personal.
Once there was no one left to save, it was their turn to process, grieve, and mourn.
It's not about me, it was about my team. So I have been more focused on, the colleagues that I work with and getting them through it. I'm fine. It's obviously been a year, and I think that the grief process is something that's ongoing.
In the 2 previous years before the shooting, I brought you multiple stories with Dr. Parker and others at St. Francis, exhausted and already heartbroken from the pandemic. Then this, my final question after 2 tough crises after the other: how and why do you come back?
Never, not once, did it make me not want to come back here. If anything, it just reiterated and gave me a fire for, we have got to respond to this. We have got to help our community. I think when you talk about a healthcare system or, a school, what makes those types of shootings so hard to deal with is that those are sacred places where you're supposed to be able to feel safe. But I still feel safe here. This is still a place where people come to help other people. It's still a place where people are coming to me to ask for help. And it reiterated that we need to educate ourselves and evolve and be able to treat that pain and hurt, whether it comes from, mind, body, and soul, whether it comes from a mental hurt or a physical hurt. It just gave me inspiration that we've got work to do and we can make a difference.